Alright, have African witches failed? Is African witchcraft just an empty myth? Why do people turn to witchcraft? Can a person be killed through the occult? Is the world run through occult power? What about the economy? Yes, we know that African witchcraft is real, but has it improved us economically, politically, financially? And to what extent has witchcraft helped to industrialize us? To what extent has the African witch and their spirits helped us with sharp competitive edge technologically, like converting the Tokolosh knowledge to super AI robots? We shall provide and propose innovative solutions with the logical alternatives and perspectives needed to promote African witchcraft so it becomes a formidable force. We are aware that a witch is often described as someone who practices witchcraft, and a witchcraft is a form of magic or spiritual practice that may involve rituals, spells, and the manipulation of natural or supernatural forces. In our languages, in Kiswahili, a witch is mchawi, in Igbo is amusu, in Kinyarwanda is umrozi, in Lingala is ndoki, in Maori is makutu, in Nyanja is mfiti, in Xhosa is amahwira, in Yoruba is haje, in Tsonga is valoi, in Sutu is baloi, in Somali is sankrinka, in Chikaranga is varoi, and in Zulu is imtagat. We have proof that witchcraft is real because the letter from King Leopold II in 1883 pinpoints to the fact of our possession of mystic system and the war fetish, war protection machinery that they say all the pastors and missionaries should teach us to abandon. We also know that it is effective because of the witchcraft suppression acts that were perpetrated across the whole of Southern Africa and many other parts of the earth. So that is a sure position. African witches, often revered and feared for their superpower and for their ability in mystical powers, are nothing more than charlatans. They waste their time, they waste their energy on petty vendettas and trivial pursuits instead of harnessing their alleged abilities to create something meaningful for our race and our people. They squander their time on low vibration energies and working with archons, using fear, hate, jealousy as their force. They have never bewitched a Europoid or an Indian or an Asian, but somehow they've got the propensity to bewitch and attack melanin dominant human beings, their own brothers and kith and kin. Despite their claims of possessing supernatural powers, African witches have consistently failed to prevent or mitigate natural disasters like epidemics, and I guess many of them were vaccinated. They also fail to stop conflicts that have ravaged our continents and communities. They are truly weak when it comes to warning us about the volcano, the earthquake, the drought, avalanches, other storms, dust storms, forest fires, thunderstorms, snow storms, hurricanes, windstorms, sinkholes, sandstorms, floods, hailstorms. They have not even been able to discover scientific tools or innovations which they can be credited with today. Meanwhile, Western scientists and their innovators have made countless breakthroughs that have transformed the earth. African witches often claim to possess the power of divination, yet they have never accurately predicted major events or crises. They have not even been able, if they had power, they would go into the bank, get all the money, distribute it to their people. They have not been able even to use power, their power, to win a lotto every time they play consistently. Otherwise, there wouldn't be any lotto today. It is clear that despite the widespread belief of witchcraft among Africans and melanin-dominant human beings all over the world, we continue as a group to lag behind in terms of economic development, policy, education, healthcare. If witchcraft was truly a powerful force, wouldn't it be manifesting in itself intangible improvements to to improve people's lives. Instead, it seems to be a mere distraction from the real issues plaguing our society, our continents, and our people, and they continue to force us to mire in poverty, squalor, and suffering, hunger and thirst, while others are digging up our gold and putting value over our minerals. In many African societies, witchcraft is used as a tool for social control, with accusations of witchcraft often serving as a convenient excuse to persecute, marginalize, and destroy other people, such as the elderly, the old women, minorities, and others that do not look like us. This is not a phenomenon only associated with the African witchcraft, but it is a history across all the ages, right into Europe and many other places. This begs the question: are African witches truly concerned with the well-being of their communities, or they are just there to exploit superstition and further their own interests? Let's look at this and say, okay, we have looked at the most negative aspects, but let's look at some success stories. We have heard stories of suspected witch allegedly falling from the sky. In Filabusi, in Zimbabwe, there was a gang of witches or fell from the flight as they were fighting a child's leg, and to share their child's leg that they've just extracted from some place. You can go to this mail newspaper and read the story. We know that there are stories of Africans that can fly from one place to another in milliseconds or nanoseconds, faster than supersonic flights. That's the technology that we know is existent. Some send lightning and some do a lot of wonders. We know this. And we know that the case of the African witch doctor is that he was overtaken by the European trained physician who was supported by a larger, much more powerful, with a military and legislative force, pharmaceutical industry. So it is clear that these success stories permeates even our revolutions. The Mau Mau used Afro spirit-led forces and drive. Chimurenga, who fought in Zimbabwe, used spirit and the feminine power of Mbuyanehanda. The Haitian Revolution used an Afro spirit to liberate slaves. The Maji Maji in Tanzania was an uprising that used significant African Afro spirit-led system. And during these brief periods of success, somehow we notice that witchcraft is employed somewhere in a system rather than in an individualized potential fight. Now, how did African witches lose power? We propose some innovative solutions here and the logical alternatives that should give us a good perspective that we need to promote African witchcraft so it becomes a formidable problem-solving force. We know that it is clear from the perspectives of our research and the excerpt letter from King Leopold II of Belgium in 1883 that we had a mystic system that they knew, and our war fetish warfare protection system, which they said pastors today, all the Christian pastors, the Islamic imams, the rabbis are taught to teach us to throw it away and make it disappear. African witchcraft and our ancient mystic systems are connected. They involve spiritual, mental, and magical practices. Europeans and all others have managed to dissuade us and to decouple our witchcraft practice systems, which were already weakened by the time they came by hierarchical failures, to synergize the structures within which African witches could operate as a system-wise practice. African witchcraft became more decentralized and diverse and individualized, and then it fell into the low vibration levels. And when it fell to the low vibration levels, it got connected with the spirits that were already fighting our super mystic system. And through witchcraft suppression acts and through religions like Islam, Christianity, and Judaism were persuaded not to re-engage this superior ancient mystic system, because we lost control, we therefore lost the hierarchical framework, and we have no system, but we have got many different systems today that are closely tied to religious, political, and economic systems that are not of our own, that are foreign to our original ancient mystic system which they knew about. This is important because when you look at that fact, you discover that this like issue of chicken swinging ritual systems, or that endures against all technologies that the Jews and Europeans would have, is still being practiced today. But it is practiced as a system, whereas we practice it as individually or individuals. And when we do that, we are an isolated force that has no power to override a group force. It is very clear when you look at these images that we are showing that this is occurring today. When you come to the issue of sounding the horn, which the Jews sound during some festivities, the shofar, we do that, we have that here, and they do it, and then they say ours is pagan, and they tell us not to do it because it is evil, and they tell us to convert to their religions, and then we blow the shofar as Hebrews, but we are blowing it under their system, not under our system. Therefore we are empowering their system. Our governments are not our governments. Our political systems are not our political systems, because they continue implementing the Witchcraft Suppression Acts, prohibiting various activities related to witchcraft, while the systems that tell us to exercise that, behind the scene, they operate their own witchcraft systems, like the Masonic rituals, the Illuminati rituals, Bohemian group rituals. They are a system, and when we are given a little permission to be initiated in some systems of our own, we are not allowed to establish as a system, because the legislation is against us and we implement that legislation against us. So now utwasa, and you go and be initiated, you are being initiated as an individual, not in a system, but an individual, to practice a little bit of what our mystic system used to have. Very, very important. So we want to propose 7 innovative solutions to promote African witchcraft so that it becomes a formidable force, whether at an individual level or group level, it doesn't matter. This 7-step system involves individual witch, that they must be part of a system. The cultural empowerment program systems must have a legal recognition and protection system. There must be integration with African biased educational system. So our educational system across the board must include aspects of an individual witch, and the community, healthcare, and herbal systems, entrepreneurial and Afro-economic systems, research and innovation hubs. And last but not least, our systems must not collaborate or exchange with any international organization. That's very important. So at the end of the day, we have to give a broader framework, and this broad framework comes from ancient Africa, from a place called Nag Hammadi, where we know the reality of Sophia, which is wisdom, which is Jigahuti, which is thought, this is Maati, which is Ubuntu. That's the cog around which it works, because it feeds both from the unseen realm to us, and then we know that there is a damage and the arachons, and also there are forces that we need to divorce from. We need to divorce from the Apophis forces and the other secret fraternities, and join ourselves to Jigahute and universal principles of energy and vibration. Heka, Haka, Ubusangoma, proper and clean. This is very critical and very, very important. So when we look at the 7 proposed systems that can liberate us. We identified how, as melanin dominant human beings, we have lost that power of witchcraft. The truth is very provoking, and we need to find more detailed information, and we need to do deeper research, and we will elaborate on these 7 solutions as our major goals for members of Marifado Family Network who are doing Bantu Foundation mystery systems or mysteries. To this end, we continue to learn shocking truths. You never easily be swayed by the occult, magic, and the witchcraft. If you subscribe, if you want to find more, you will discover that we speak of the human body as a cosmic listening post or antenna in a vast ocean of frequencies and vibrations of energy. We have to connect our personal energy to some other field, but to our mystic system and mystery system, where we will gain valuable teachings, ability to work with elements, divination, communication, healing, protection, manifestation, and enchantment, where we will explore altars, dream interpretation, reading of bones, crystals, ancestral healing, weather sensing, fire gazing, candle imaging, as well as divine magic and communicating with the divinities. It is very, very critical that we have shared basic information only on the reason African witches fail. We know that they are locked into low vibration by being separate from the divine system, our mystic system, and as individuals, you can not do more, but you can rediscover this pathway into that which was feared and that which is feared even today, our own mystic system. That is what we want to share with you. So if you are interested in this, connect to us via our website, which we are showing here, and visit our Instagram, Marifado_United States, US, and also send us an email on join@marifado.com. Your manager to be Christian by LM says, yes, you can learn the craft that will liberate you individually and as a group together. Amen.